All right, for this one, we have an integral of a trig function, tangent squared, and we're asking which one of these is it. Now, it may not be obvious which one it is, but because they give us choices here, we can just take the derivatives of these choices and see which one gives us back tangent squared of x. That might be an easier route than trying to figure out the integral by itself. Well, the derivative of this first one, right, we take the derivative of the inside, which is the derivative of tangent, I have it here, is secant squared. So we're going to get a secant squared times tangent, right? 3 goes down, becomes tangent squared x. We're going to get secant squared times tangent squared. That's not what we want, so we know it can't be a. This one, tangent over secant, again, same kind of thing. We're going to get that secant squared, but now we have this fraction in there, so we have to do the whole quotient rule. I'm going to skip that one for now and come back to it if I need to. C, take a derivative of 1, we get 1 minus tangent squared. Tangent squared is going to be secant squared. We're just taking a derivative of that. And what this looks like to me is the Pythagorean theorem, or the Pythagorean rule for trig functions. And so I'm not sure if this is what I want, so let's just look at that. If you don't remember that, it's going to be sine squared. I'm just going to write shorthand plus cosine squared equals 1. And I want tangent squared, so tangent is going to be sine over cosine, so I'm going to divide everything by cosine squared. And that gives me sine over cosine is tangent squared, cosine over cosine is just 1, 1 over cosine is secant squared. And here I have 1 minus secant, so all I really need to do is subtract secant, subtract tangent, and I get 1 minus secant squared equals negative tangent squared. And that's almost what I want here. I have negative, but I don't want that negative. But that kind of looks like, well, maybe it's going to be d then, because that gives us, if we take a derivative of this, we're going to get secant squared minus 1. Well, if I just subtract 1 here, I get tan squared equals secant squared minus 1, and that's exactly what I want. I want tangent squared. So the answer has to be D.